lost 3 in a row, so they're hoping to break that skid. Certainly don't want to go down to the Magic. They'll stay home Wednesday to play the Mavericks, and then they hit the road. It's the last week of regular season basketball, I guess. Last couple of weeks.
The 8th, yeah. I think the 8th is the last, 8th or 10th?
The 10th.
I think the 10th, yeah.
There's a TBD against the Bucks here at home. So last handful of games here for the Cavs to make something happen. So
Short for the Buckaroos, I believe.
What's that? The
Milwaukee
Milwaukee
Buckaroos.
Buckaroos. Yeah. That's right. So 7 o'clock tonight is your first tip from the Romo Fijo. We'll get out of here on 6:30 and get you right into Cavs pregame. Hey, Sarah.
Yes.
Hi, what's up?
I just have a comment about the Will Smith thing. I didn't watch it. I just saw the headline today in the clip. I just feel like when he did that, and I'm trying to say this in the correct manner like I told Poundcake, I feel like he took 5 million steps backwards on when black men want to be perceived a certain way or treated a certain way. I just felt like when I saw that, I go, wow, you just took your many steps backwards. If you want things to change, well, your actions are not going to change.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, he's not responsible for the black community. I mean,
no, but
there's a lot of people that will look at it that way.
Yeah, and if you're going to go to those things, you better have thick skin. You're lucky Ricky Gervais wasn't up there, to be quite honest.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. And again, a lot of these jokes are done in rehearsal, so I wonder if...
yeah, he knew.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
But the other one was when the one of the hosts, I don't know who she was.
Regina
She had
Hall.
all those men up there, and then she patted down the one guy for COVID, whatever that was. Boy, if a woman, if the roles had been reversed with that Me Too stuff going on, there's a lot of contradictions going on. There really are. If you watch some of the clips, you know, that one skit, that if the roles had been reversed, that whole Me Too thing, she would have been roasted for that, or he would have been roasted for patting down a woman, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be honest.
There are double standards. There's double standards and hypocrisy and all that stuff. It's out there.
And I'm sorry, but Will Smith, your head is way too big, and you put your whole life out on blast. You and your wife both did, so you better take it because you're a celebrity, and unfortunately, that's what happens.
Okay, but people talk like celebrities don't get to have breaking points, and I don't think that that's fair. Just because you are a public figure doesn't mean that you don't have human emotions.
I'm not saying that at all.
But
I'm just saying that you gotta control your emotions.
I don't know,
This
man.
whole breaking point thing, it's like, does that imply that there's no consequence for it? Like,
I never said
listen,
that.
if I'm going to fight with somebody, right, and I'm going to hit him, in my brain, I go, is this worth hitting this guy? Because he could sue me. I could get arrested.
You could hit your back.
Right? Will Smith knew none of that was going to happen. None of it. He didn't even leave the building. He walked back to his seat in the front row and sat down and then screamed at him. Screamed at him.
I'm not defending what he did.
You said anybody hits a breaking point, you can see it coming.
I'm not saying it's okay. What I'm saying is I understand it. Sometimes it feels like you guys act like you don't understand how these things could ever happen.
We understand all of it, but we also have control of our emotions and our fists.
And, I mean, Bill
Hey,
made
man, push me too hard, see what happens.
Bill made a good point, too, during the break. That it's like,
FAFO.
This is more a Jada thing, where he was like...
Yes.
Well, yeah, he has to prove to her I love you or whatever because she put their whole relationship and all their flaws out there. So
Why
now,
hasn't she proven him that she loves him by not banging other guys?
That's what I'm saying, is that she's put them in a position
so
where now Will
hard
has to do
not
something.
bang other guys.
Listen,
Entanglements, man. They just happen.
I'm sure there's nothing uncomplicated about Will Smith's marriage, right?
They hit a sore spot.
But they have kids. Like, how you gonna go up there after hitting another grown man and going, kids? I know his kids are grown-ish too. They're not 5 and 7. But I don't know. I just thought it was gross. Listen, it's not gonna. Somebody tagged me in somebody else's tweet. They said it'll never not be funny to me that Will Smith turned down Django Unchained because it might ruin his image. Mm-hmm. So hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
Haha, whatever. But I don't know. And again, that room is full of people because now the stories are the Oscars. They might rescind his Best Actor Oscar because they have a code of conduct. And people are like, oh, no, you don't. Mel Gibson's got his. Roman Polanski's got his.
Right.
There's a whole list of
Weinstein's got his, doesn't he?
First of all, they're not going to do that, but they're never going to strip Will Smith's Oscar. And nor should they. It wasn't for his behavior last night. It was for the movie. They thought he was good in the movie, and so they gave him the Oscar for it.
And please, I mean, the Oscars, as much as they hate that it happened, they probably loved it because I'm like, oh my gosh.
Nobody's talked about the Oscars this much.
I'm going to say, like, oh my gosh, people are actually going to watch the Oscars again. They can't wait till next year. Who should we pay to come up on stage?
Fight.
Yeah.
Well,
please.
I mean, aren't we all shocked that this wasn't Kanye and Pete Davidson? That's the fight that we've been hyped, and then that one doesn't even happen. We get Will Smith and Chris Rock. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah. But it eclipses everything else. There was a girl who won last night for West Side Story. I think it was West Side Story. A girl named Ariana DeBose becomes the first openly queer woman of color. There's a lot of hyphens there. But she got Best Actress. She got Best Supporting Actress for West Side Story. So that's a real big deal to her. Mm-hmm. Big deal for people in that community.
Yeah.
And here comes Will Smith. I mean, listen, you can't. I get it. Something's going to happen, but. I don't know, man. It's just really weird. It's very strange. And then they're like, Diddy's like, they made up backstage.
They might have.
They might have.
He might have just said, hey, man, I snapped. And Chris Rock's like, I get it.
I read on
I'm
Twitter
a comic. People yell at me all the time.
Not only Chris Rock being a comic, but Chris Rock has had, he's had very public issues with marriage and things like that, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if there was ever anybody that maybe would go, don't worry about it, it might be Chris Rock.
And also Chris Rock is going to put this in his next special. This is going to be a huge chunk. This is going to be a 15-minute bit in Chris Rock's next special.
But also, I have enough faith in him that he could come up with pretty good material without needing Will Smith to smack him across the face.
I'm not saying that he needed it, but it's that silver lining when things don't go your way where you're like,
of course.
I guess I'll talk about it on stage.
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, speaking of Kanye, The Gap has a Kanye problem, by the way. Because The Gap, they announced a collab with Kanye, and then their stock shot up. Because the Gap's been getting their ass kicked for a long time now. By hip young companies like Old Navy.
They're the same company.
That's what I said too. Yeah. I'm like, how is that even a thing? What do they care? But when the guy that you signed a huge collab with is like threatening Pete Davidson's life and calling Trevor Noah the N-word and all this stuff on Instagram, it's like, the people up there to be a little bit concerned because the Gap has got a pretty squeaky clean image. So now they got to contend with Kanye. Hey, Ben in Memphis, Tennessee. What's going on, Ben?
Hey. Hindsight is 20/20. I thought the best thing that Will Smith could have done is he and his family got up and left the moment the joke was made, because when he won the award, if he wasn't there, Chris Rock would have they wouldn't have known what to do. Or if he won the award and they all went up there and just called him out on it on stage, he would have looked like a fool, and Will Smith would have looked great.
Well, it's also a situation where
the other thing.
The weird situation is that it's ironic that he did this to look like a tough guy and defend his wife, except he also kind of looks like a bitch for doing it too, because when people
she has issues. I never have liked her in anything that she's ever in because she plays the same character, the tough black woman.
Well, she played an old lady in The Matrix. Right? She was a young lady in The Matrix, and then she came back to an old lady in The Matrix.
Same old character every time. And I think that's how she acts in life. And she's sitting there, and they're making fun of her, and she just can't take it. Now, I'm 57 years old and grew up in the South. I've been called everything. I've been ran off the road by good old boys. All kinds of stuff has happened to me, but if there's a fight situation, I look for my way out of it, not to get into it.
It was just a weird thing to get upset at. It wasn't a great joke. G.I. Jane, Demi Moore looked super foxy in that movie. It's 25 years old. Mm-hmm. It's the only bald woman reference you could come up with, really. I defy anyone to come up with a different one.
I thought it was a funny joke myself.
I mean, it wasn't anything
throwaway.
It wasn't anything to get slapped over, that's for sure.
No. But the other thing is, I've already had relatives say that, well, now we're out of the awards and we're out of this and we're out of that because, like somebody was saying before, now people that are racist have additional ammo.
No.
Well, they're never going to be, racists are never going to be short on ammo. I mean, they'll come up with something.
But now they have more. You don't want to fuel the fire.
No, that's never going to end.
So there's always going to be something, but this was just, you don't want to lay it out on the platter for them.
Who cares? So
And
what? They'll
also,
go.
It makes the people that just kind of stand on the wayside, that don't say anything, that maybe we're saying something now about racism. Now they're going to like, well, I don't know. When I saw that, I'm not sure they can control.
Stop trying to make racists happy.
I certainly didn't think that black on black crime at the Oscars was an article I was going to be reading, but
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, thank you, Ben. I appreciate it.
The best thing
Ben
you
in
can do
Memphis.
is just get rid of the Oscars altogether. Just no more Oscars.
It's just it's just so boring.
But this was a year that they were going to have it figured out, right? It was going to be tight. They were going to have Amy Schumer. They were going to have, she's dressed up like Spider-Man or something. And, you know, they were going to give away a bunch of the awards pre-telecast. So they get those out of the way, nice and tight, and hoping people watch. And Will Smith runs up. Again, this isn't going to change anyone's life.
No.
It's not going to change anyone's career. But it was a wild moment. Because we're also, Poundcake talks about, and everybody talks about award shows being contrived.
It is.
We're so used to everything being contrived that when you see something like that, you don't know what to do. Some people immediately went to, this is a bit, and I thought it was too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, I know people are going up to this like the Zapruder film. People are texting me, you could see Chris Rock like lean into it. And I didn't see any of that, man.
No, well,
I saw a guy who thought Will Smith was coming up
to play along
or give him a hard time, and he smacked him. Mm-hmm. I didn't see a guy who thought that was coming.
Yeah, I think
this was set up, this was an amazing job. Mm-hmm. This was a great job by both of those guys. Set this up.
This isn't like Conor McGregor and Machine Gun Kelly at the MTV Video Awards where they were on the red carpet.
And who watches that?
Exactly. He splashed water on me, and we had to throw hands. I'm like, okay, no charges were filed. There was no follow up. That was contrived, and it just so happened that MGK got an award that night. But this. I did see Chris Rock lean into it from the bit, but I literally thought that he was like, oh, you want to give me a little, like, it looked like he was like taunting him. I don't think he realized that Will was actually that angry before, which I've had that happen to me as well. I've been going into things with like the nicest of intentions, and someone legit got mad at me, and I thought they were joking. I was like, you can't possibly think what I said was
like who?
Offensive. So when I was in college, I was at the Akron Civic Theater. I was recording something there, and I needed like an extra chair or something like that, and I couldn't find one, and so I yanked one from like the back because they told me, take whatever you need. That was like what a stagehand told me. Well, apparently that message was not relayed to like whoever the supervisor was there at the time. I don't know. I don't even know the guy's name. But he like went off on me, and he was like, "Who told you you could take that?" I was like, the stagehand." They're like, "They don't report to you. Since when do you run?" So I was like, I was smiling because I was like, you can't be serious. You're really yelling at me for taking a chair to stand on to like film. I couldn't understand it, and so I think I laughed, and that really like pissed him off even more. Yeah, I don't know.
There was a dude that followed me out to my car after a show one time because I used to do this bit about which one would you rather smell, a penis or a vagina, because there's all these, stupid things like, oh, vaginas are supposed to be not pleasant smelling, all that bull crap. And then when guys always say, oh, vagina, of course I go, well, it's your mom's vagina. And this guy got real mad at me. But I didn't even see that. Like, it got a laugh, whatever. And then as I'm leaving, he follows. He's like, hey, man, what was that? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're talking about my mom. I'm like, yeah, it's a joke. And he's like, but why do you know that about my mom?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, dude, I don't know who you are. And
he was drunk?
I don't know your mom. He wasn't super drunk, but he legit thought I was talking like I had met his mom.
Like you had her medical charts in your car.
And he was ready to get physical, and I cooled the situation. I was like, no, man, I was not I do that joke all over the place. I'm just goofing around. He's like, oh, so you don't know my mom? I was like, no, I don't know your mom. He legit thought
I guess it could have gone worse.
Yeah. He really thought I was like exposing something about his mother. And that wasn't the case. He just completely misunderstood the situation.
I used to do a bit about, it was like this really big long act out of me being drunk. And it would end with me like sitting on a guy's lap in the audience and taking his hat and drinking his beer. It was this big thing. It was like a 5-minute thing. And I did it one time. I was in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was only a few years into stand-up, maybe 2 or 3 years into stand-up. And his wife came back from the bathroom while I was doing this bit. And she was less than pleased that I was sitting in her husband's lap, drinking his beer with his hat on. And she lost it. She was like, get your ass off my husband, you bitch. I'm going to beat your ass in the parking lot. And I was like, and luckily it's my closing bit. So I was able to just like end the bit early, get off stage. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere near that parking lot. I hung out in the green room till like after an hour.
Pussy.
Well, yeah, she was huge. she would have destroyed me.
Here's my Uber.
But I mean, to that faction, I mean, your guy's that's a little bit more Oedipus than anything. But you know, I made what she felt was an inappropriate joke at her husband's. What is the word I'm looking for? Expense.
But you're also sitting on his lap, too.
I get it. Yeah.
If it was from the stage, she probably wouldn't have minded so much.
She comes back up. What the hell is this?
Yeah.
I mean, in that moment, do I deserve to get my ass beat? No, but stay off her husband. You know what I mean?
Right, because then you get up, go back on stage. Mm-hmm. He's probably got a rod.
Probably.
She's going to notice that. It ruins the whole night.
Stop doing that bit after that.
Yeah. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Alan.
What's going on?
Real quick, just to make sure I heard, if Mary could, well, first of all, that guy had it right. Will should have got up and left, first and foremost. Like, he does look like a little bitch to your point. But Mary, you said about something about breaking points. You mind just clarifying that a little bit?
I'm saying that when you get to a point where you are dealing with things and it bottles up and you can't deal with it anymore. I don't think I need to define what a breaking point is.
Okay, so to a degree, when you're saying a breaking point, you're almost going into victim blaming. Like, I got a friend in the car next to me. She's just got out of an abusive relationship, and she about jumped through the radio when you said that. So I don't think that's what you meant, but you definitely want to clarify that. You're not, like, giving leeway to, oh, the person pushed me to my breaking point, now I can slap them, because that's kind of what you were getting at.
No, I was saying that Will Smith has been very publicly mocked about his relationship for years, and he got to a point where he's like, I can't take this anymore. This has absolutely nothing to do with domestic violence.
Except it also wasn't him reaching his breaking point because he was laughing until he looked over at his wife. And we've all gotten that, you ain't going to get no ass for a year if you don't do something look. And that's essentially, she just had this bag on her face. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is laughing. So he is trying to cover up the fact that he was laughing too.
Yeah, because she was figure it out.
Yeah. So it wasn't
I just wanted to make sure.
I'm definitely not saying that it's okay to hit your partner when you hit a breaking point. This is between two men, and it's him and his relationship was not on the line, but she was like, hey, are you going to defend my honor or not? After years of publicly putting him through a ton of stress.
Maybe the three of them had a threesome at some point. Maybe there's some underlying issues. Listen, I think Jada Pinkett is actually pretty foxy. But I've never gotten any indication whatsoever that she has a particularly sense of humor. You know what I mean? Like, you don't ever see her talking to anybody where she's having a good time, or it's always very serious. Law of averages says that that's impossible, of course, but, she didn't like it. No. Like Chris Rock probably didn't even know she had alopecia. Wasn't even an alopecia joke. Huh?
I didn't know that.
I don't think...
She's been talking about it for 3-4 years now.
Yeah, but if you don't pay attention to what she's talking about, you don't know. I didn't know she had alopecia.
Well, that's not on Chris Rock.
The most I know about alopecia is from I think season 3 of Arrested Development, where his eyebrows kept falling into the candy beans.
Ed Begley Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, listen, let me break. You want to text for something? 35192, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7
WMMS.